Hi there! Welcome to episode 193 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to listen to the most interesting video game music there is. When a single game is so hugely successful that it changes the trajectory of an entire console generation, you better believe it's going to get a sequel. And in the case of Rare and Nintendo on the Super NES, they pulled off a miracle, a follow-up that lived up to expectations. Don your favorite pirate hats, because tonight we listen to the music of Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Well, hi there, Matt.
Hi there, Kris.
How the heck are you? It's been a few months.
It has. I'm tired of the snow, but I'm good. How are you?
Also tired of the snow, which is, it takes me a while to get there. And honestly, I was so happy with all of the snow that we got this year. I've been out sledding with the kids a couple of times. It spent hours shoveling. I love snow. I love winter, but I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for this to be done. Yeah, we're well into March now. February really hard, and it's
yes, it did.
We're on our way. We're all the snow is. I can't say the snow's almost gone. Like most of the flat surfaces are clear, but like all the plowing in the mountains. Because I don't know how much you got by you, but we got just shy of 2 feet here, which is. I haven't seen snow like that since I was a kid. It was really awesome.
We definitely got double digits both times. I think we got like 15 the first one and like something around 13 the second, depending on the snow drifts. Yeah, you could have had 2 feet.
Right. Yeah. The first one was brutal with all that ice, but
yes,
that's
a cold weather that followed was
absolutely brutal. It's a podcast for another podcast. So we are.
Yes.
We took a little hiatus, and we've changed things up a little bit around here. It's been a couple of months since I've spoken to Matt. Actually spoken. We've been in communication, but it's going to be a couple of months before we have another one of these podcasts, because this show and a couple other ones are going effectively quarterly, which is kind of a bummer because there will be fewer episodes, but also it will help maintain my sanity, which I think is kind of important for me to continue doing these things, being sane and also avoiding burnout. The good news is that this week's episode came back. It's kind of a new format. It's just me and Evan now, not picking shows in advance, really just kind of going in and having a good time talking. So the way this is going to work is that WaveBack, Turning Tracks, and this week's episode are all going to go. I'm going to do one of those shows a month and rotate. So I'll still be talking to Matt every month, just not about the same podcast every month. And again, I am bummed that there's going to be so many fewer episodes. I haven't quite figured out what we're doing about the end of year specials yet, but what we were doing before was too much for me, because I took on yet another side hustle, hosting bar trivia every other week. And there would be weeks sometimes where I would have to record 2 podcasts, host bar trivia, and then record my regular Stone Age Gamer podcast, and edit shows on top of doing my regular job and my other side hustle of working at the magazine. And it was too much. It was just too much. And as much as I love doing this, something had to give. And this is the thing that I settled on. And I'm confident that it's going to be working, because, February worked out well with doing TWEP, and now here we are with this, and next month we'll be Turning Tracks, and we're just going to keep on keeping on, as it were. And also tonight we get to talk about one of my favorite David Wise soundtracks. So hell yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. Back to you, Kris.
I am glad you're good.
No, I'm hanging on by a thread, Chief. No, everything's been all right, all things considered. Won't get heavy. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, some changes around my apartment have, as I was telling you before we started recording, I'm kind of a man without a home. So I've got like a makeshift recording deal. I'm sitting on my couch, which is very bizarre to me. Recording this as it were. But, I think I said it to you in private. I don't know if I said it in public, but I'll say it in public. Your mental health is very important to me and everyone around you. So, we just take it one show at a time, and one foot in front of the other, and we'll see where it takes us again. Maybe down the line we can get back to what was a more normal schedule for us, and we have some really, really, really great fans who also understand too. So thank you
Yeah,
guys.
and we're in regular touch with folks on the Discord, still having lots of fun conversations there, which is pretty
Hmm.
great. And I forgot to do what I meant. I meant to jump into the Discord and solicit listener feedback. Like if anybody had anything they wanted to say about Donkey Kong Country 2, they would I would read it here on the show. So I'm going to do that now, and maybe we'll get some feedback by the time we're done recording.
Sounds
So,
good to me.
with that being said, uh, or maybe I did do that. Maybe there is some stuff in here. I don't know. With that being said, Matt,
Yes, sir.
hit us with some history.
I thought you'd never ask. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, not Diddy Kong's Quest, as so many folks like to say, was released for the Super NES in North America on December 4th, 1995. It came hot off the heels of the tremendous success of Donkey Kong Country and brought with it a larger scale, even more impressive visuals, higher difficulty, tons of more things to collect, and an absolutely legendary soundtrack. King K Rool, now dressed as a pirate calling himself Kaptain K Rool, has kidnapped Donkey Kong, and it's up to Diddy and his friend Dixie to save him from the Kremling menace. The game was a phenomenal success and is still considered one of the best 2D platformers Nintendo has ever produced.
The game's composer was David Wise, this time working more or less alone, unlike in the original Donkey Kong Country, where he collaborated with Evelyn Novakovic, then Evelyn Fisher, and Robin Beanland. Of course, we've covered Mr. Wise's work on the show numerous times. He's one of the best there is, as far as I'm concerned, and tonight's game is arguably some of his finest work. Matt, what is your history with Donkey Kong Country 2?
Um I don't think I have a ton when reading and looking this up. I didn't really nothing really flooded my memory bank, so I don't really think I played this one. And if I did, I played it very, very little. So I'm gonna go and say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 0.
Okay. Well, Donkey Kong Country was one of those games that just changed my life. I mean, we've spoken about that particular game ad nauseum. Uh, and so when there was a Donkey Kong Country 2 on the way, I was obviously very, very excited for it. I was still really diehard in the, Nintendo like the console wars thing, and I was so team Nintendo, it was sickening. And this game was just like one of those really cool things that was a real big feather in Nintendo's cap. And I was really floored by this. I hated that you couldn't be Donkey Kong, but I liked Dixie Kong so much that it didn't bother me as much as it otherwise would have. I got the strategy guide. I 102%ed the game. The music was really a huge thing with me. The soundtrack really grabbed me. It let me down in certain ways because there's a different tone to a lot of this stuff than there is in the original Donkey Kong Country. And those are songs that I skipped when piecing together this playlist. But this game, I still love the original more. I find it to be more fun to play in a lot of ways, but there's so much creativity. I was just playing this like an hour or two ago, this evening, just to kind of get myself in the mood. And man, when this game hits, it really hits. It's very creative. A lot of the secrets are hidden in very creative places and very clever. And it looks amazing. It sounds incredible. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. So I guess we'll move on to the music. This could have easily been another two-parter, just like we did with Donkey Kong Country, but since the show's going quarterly instead of monthly, I didn't feel great about using two of this year's episodes on the same game, so I painstakingly cut great songs in favor of listening to more of my personal favorites and things that I think kind of run the gamut of what this game is capable of in the best way, because that's what I wanted to do. things that this game did that I think the first game did far better. Specifically, is the bonus levels, the music for bonus levels in this game. There was a sort of weird preoccupation with game show music in this. Like, this game introduced Swanky Kong, and there was this whole game show element. And the bonus levels, they didn't have that. There was a sense of like wonder and magic to a lot of the music in the first Donkey Kong Country, and there's a ton of that in this game as well. But the bonus levels, for some reason, took on this very brass heavy game show swanky sound and music, and I never cared for it at all. And the bonus room blitz is one of my favorite songs in the original Donkey Kong Country soundtrack. So that was a really big letdown for me in this game's soundtrack. There were also, there's a couple of songs that don't completely knock it out of the park for me, which made them easy to cut. Then there were other ones that were just like, man, this is really hard to cut because we only have so many hours in the day, and this is an outstanding soundtrack. So, the map screen music is a phenomenal song. I didn't include it on here because it's not one of my favorites. And I obviously like the map music in Donkey Kong Country 1 better, but this game's map music made more sense because of where the game takes place. Like, it's a very different vibe. Whereas the first one's just kind of got this kind of laid back, wonderful adventure vibe. This one, you're more in the Kremling's territory, so it's a lot more dire and menacing, and it's not my favorite. But let's get to work. We've also covered, but in addition to Donkey Kong Country, we also did an episode on Donkey Kong Land. And if you'll remember Donkey Kong Land, the little save menu music was one of those things that brought me just an extraordinary amount of joy, especially considering how simple and short the song was. And this game followed that up with what sounds very similar, a very similar song that really just kind of expands it. And it's wonderful and beautiful and joyful and silly. And probably if there's a lot of Donkey Kong Country fans out there that are thinking, you're really going to put that one on here instead of X, Y, or Z? Well, yeah, because it's my show and I'll cry if I want to. We're going to kick things off.
I don't think that's how that works, but I guess that
it is
exactly
now.
How this works.
I'm taking it back. Our intro was the game's title screen, K Rool Returns, but the first song we're listening to proper is the menu song, Steel Drum Rumba. Enjoy. That was Steel Drum Rumba. A delightful little tune if I ever did hear one. How does that make you feel?
It makes me want to dance the rumba.
Oh, me too.
No. Oh, man. It's like I don't know how to make a podcast anymore.
I mean, did we ever?
You got me there. It's great. Look, you have been a very strong, lover of David Wise, and by proxy, I have become a David Wise fan. Not nearly to the level that you can pick his music out of a lineup, but I appreciate his contributions to video game music. this is just another, solid line drive to left from David Wise. Like, there's an, how do I say this? This isn't a detrimental thing when I say this. There's some kind of lower fidelity to it. It doesn't feel as full as some of the other stuff that was like on the Super NES. It could be just that one track. I'll reserve the rest of that for the end of the episode. That's something I'm gonna be listening for, because I feel like the Super NES was, very, very good, very bright sounding. I feel like this was a little more not. You want to say something?
Well, there's definitely a lot of compression involved. The original Donkey Kong Country experienced a lot of that too, because they used very high fidelity instruments, and the Super Nintendo used sample channels. So it's like you would make the sound, and then you would have to make it fit within those channels, and there was usually a lot of compression involved. So one of the more interesting projects out there in the world is Slam and Sam Miller. Sorry, Jam and Sam Miller. I can't remember if it's Slammin' or Jammin', but he's this guy who does these things on YouTube where he goes to the original, like the instrument that they used to make this music, and then he has the original instrument sets, and then he recreates the Donkey Kong Country music with the original instruments uncompressed. And they're fascinating. I actually have the first Donkey Kong Country a vinyl of his version of it, which is astounding. But a lot of the things sound very different because David Wise took said compression into consideration. Like, what are these instruments actually going to sound like when they come out of a Super Nintendo? So some things sound very, very strange, especially in this soundtrack. And some of them I thought that they actually sound worse with the uncompressed instruments. Not that they sound bad, but they don't sound like cleaner versions of exactly what I heard in my head, because compression does weird things. So
yes, it does.
I'll send you a link to his soundtracks. They're utterly fascinating. They're so much fun. But yes, there's some compression going on here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I'm picking up. But okay. That aside, composition wise, it's great. It fits the motif of this new Donkey Kong. If K Rool is going to be a pirate and it's going to be in the Caribbean, well, gosh darn it, the music's going to be too.
Yeah. So with that said, let's get on to the soundtrack a bit more proper. And something that's really cool about this soundtrack that I find very interesting is. And David Wise touched on this a little bit in Donkey Kong Country, but it's far more involved in this one. Is environmental sounds are part of the soundtrack, kind of to add a sense of just a sense of environment to the music itself. And it's very interesting how it's done here. And in several of these songs, this one in particular, it doesn't even sound like a song at first, because it's just the first stage. Like, this game picks up right where Donkey Kong Country left off. Not exactly, but you're on the pirate ship, right? The country ends on a pirate ship. This begins on a pirate ship. And the music doesn't start until a good 10-15 seconds into the track, because it's just the sounds of the ocean. It's and a ship. It's very interesting. And you'll hear this through a lot of the soundtrack, is these environmental sounds woven directly into the music. And this is kind of a fun little pirate shanty tune. It's maybe not the most interesting piece of music in the world, but it is a very catchy one. And I think it's a great first level music. And again, I really appreciate how it weaves the sounds of the stage that you're on into the music itself, so that the system isn't wasting a sound channel on making these sounds. They're woven into the music so that the soundtrack, the entire sound design of the game, can sound more deep. Anyway, the first song for the first level of the game is Clomp's Romp. Please enjoy. And that was Clomps Rump. How'd that one grab you? Grab you by the clomps?
Listen, Kris, that's a family show. Let's not talk about my clumps. Um, am I to assume, and we all know what happens when we assume, am I to assume that those sounds were the motion of the ocean and let's see, ropes on a boat and the wood of a deck, perhaps?
That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because you're on a ship. It's a rickety old pirate ship. That's the stage, and you're running around. There's this beautiful ocean in the background, and there you go. Love it. And then it plays this cute little sea shanty.
One Caribbean island, just add Rareware Beach. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I will say that I thought those sound effects channels were a little louder than perhaps I would have mixed them.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it serves a great purpose. Like, sight unseen, you can tell exactly what's going on just by hearing that piece. And yeah, that little sea shanty bit. I will say, like, I don't know if I would use the term sacrifice, but I fully understand, using those channels for sound effects. But I mean, to sacrifice potentially an instrument line or two more. But I don't know, what could it have added? Sea shanties are very sparse in instrumentation to begin with. So
yeah, I think that was very I think that the ocean sounds being what they were was very intentional, I think. And I base that on hearing the rest of the soundtrack and how specifically this next song, the environmental sounds actually weave in and out of the song, which is very interesting. I don't have a whole lot more to say about Clomps Rump, so we're going to move on to the next track, which is one of my favorite songs. Oh my God, this song is it's so simple, but it is so beautiful. It is a wonderful song. And this one it's one of the songs that really puts me at ease. It's wonderful. It's peaceful. It's another like cute little pirate shanty kind of thing, but it's so melodically perfect. And it has this wonderful, so on that one, you're on the deck, but in this one, you're up in the sails. You're really high up in this super impossibly tall pirate ship. And there's like a little bit of rain. And that's the sound that's going on throughout this one. But it also isn't constant like it was in Clomps Rump. It goes in and out. And it's... words cannot do it justice. This is a wonderful, wonderful song. If you have the opportunity to listen to this with headphones and really soak in the stereo sound, I don't know if that's going to come through in the podcast recording or not, but this has an extraordinary stereo effect. One that really blew me away when I was a kid, because I had this, my Super Nintendo was hooked up to a little stereo system, and it really sounded like the sound of the rain was happening all around me. With the little stereo setup I had. And I remember holding a tape recorder up to my stereo to record this, to listen to this specific song over and over again on audio cassette. I can't say enough good things about it. This is a wonderful, beautiful, simple piece of music that's pure, unadulterated magic. Please enjoy Jib Jig. Oh, that was Jib Jig from Donkey Kong Country 2, and oh, that song just sings to me. It just gets right to my heart. It's the little string, I don't know, the little string scales that happen, and the way the storm goes calms down and then picks back up again, and then calms down and picks back up and weaves in and out of the song. It's such a beautiful, beautiful piece of music. God, I love that song.
There's like a nice military pattern to that kind of drum. It gives me this mental image of like that very famous painting of like George Washington playing the not the fiddle, the little pipe, and Abraham Lincoln drumming. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, I know what I'm
just
talking
like,
about. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me that kind of mental image. But other than that, no, I really do appreciate the soundscape. That's, I think, the best way to kind of describe what I'm listening to.
Excellent
And
word.
yeah, oh, thank you. Thought of it all by myself. The rain coming in, and yeah, like you said, like the storm kind of ebbing and flowing is really cool. Yeah, and then just that little melody is enough to I don't know, to keep playing over and over again and not really get that grating or annoying when you go, you hear the loop and you go, all right. Well, it's good. It's a good piece of music.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I love it. In my core, it really just sings to me, and well, I just love that. I just love it.
Love when music sings to me.
Yes, indeed. It's better than when chainsaws sing to me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I happen to enjoy music that sounds like chainsaws, so I don't know if I'm offended or seen. I'm not sure.
So our next song is it takes a bit of a turn here. This one's called Lockjaw's Saga. Now this again incorporates environmental sounds, but they're far more stressful. This is an underwater stage where you're inside basically a sinking pirate ship, and there's water levels rising, and there's creaking and just danger everywhere. This is a wonderfully intense song, and yeah, it may be again a little bit on the simple side. We're going to get to some more complex stuff in a handful of tracks from now, but this again, I don't think its simplicity really holds it back from the degree of menace that it exudes.
Degree of menace. I like that.
Well, then, I hope you like this too. Here is Lockjaw's Saga. Am I getting the name right? Because the names are actually a little bit different.
Yes.
So I have this soundtrack that I've had on my iTunes forever, and it's based on the names of the levels. But they put Donkey Kong Country 2 up on the Nintendo Music app, and now I have the official titles, and some of them are slightly different than what I have. But yes, this is Lockjaw's Saga. Enjoy! song's so cool. That was Lockjaw's Saga from Donkey Kong Country 2 by the wonderful David Wise. Oh, that song really, there's such an intensity to it that the water sounds and the beat that they keep bringing and and tuning out during the song are so very, there's a degree of menace to them. They're kind of frightening because it sounds violent, like it sounds claustrophobic and violent splashing and whatnot, and coupled with the visuals of this level, it's just the creaking wood and the water rising all over the place. One of the things that made Donkey Kong Country so special in the first place was that it is this inherently silly thing about a monkey in a necktie, but also like they really took the sound design so seriously in these games that it really elevated it. So what did you make of that one?
Oh, when I was a kid, I went to summer camp for a couple years in a row. And my first year there, they had swimming lessons. We went swimming 2 times a day. I have certificates that say I could swim. They're all BS. Long story short, but the very first time, I think I was sitting in a pool. Everybody was made to sit around the pool with their feet in the water, and then the lifeguards blew the whistles, and everybody could get in. Right. Well, the kid sitting next to me, we were fooling around, and I went in. Now, I'm a small guy. I've been a small person my whole life. It was probably, 4 feet of water, and I went under, and I didn't know what to do. So my camp counselor obviously walks over and just stands me up or whatever it was. He lifts me up and puts me back on the, on the edge of the pool. And ever since then, it's like, I don't like pools. That sound in this track is a little too close for comfort for me.
Wow.
It's impressive. I don't know if you swim or whatnot, but
I love swimming.
Really,
I was on the swim team when I was younger. I love swimming.
Another thing that we couldn't be polar opposites, more polar opposites about, I swear. Yeah, no. So then exactly, that's exactly what water sounds like when you're underwater. It's wild. I'm so I don't want to say terrified. I'm not really afraid of this sound or anything, but wow, it really conjures that moment. That aside, the everything else that comes along with it is absolutely menacing. It's absolutely what's the word? Anxiety inducing. If this is it a timed level?
No, it's not.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
well, there are different there's different ones of these stages. I think there are auto scroll elements in some of them that can feel timed in some of the later stages. There's one where it's you're in effectively in lava, and there's this seal character that can cool the water down so that you don't die in it, but it's only there for a limited time. So you've got to swim to the next area as quick as possible to find another seal to cool the water down before it turns into lava and kills you. So yeah, there is a timed element in at least one of these stages. Those stages are very intense.
So this music lends itself to, in my mind, a stage that's timed. I'm thinking like the end of Super Metroid, where you have to get out of there in a certain amount of time. It just lends itself to that. You're already feeling anxiety from the fact that a level is timed, or it's auto scrolling, whatever it is, and then you throw this music on top of it. It's very diabolical.
The drum sounds are so heavy in this one. That is so heavy. Yeah. I love that so much. And the fact that they use that to mask the water sounds suddenly coming back into the song, I think was really quite brilliant. It's also worth noting that this song is reprised in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze's astounding soundtrack, and it is incredible. It's a stage where you're trying to get away from something, and the music doesn't sound like this at all, but there comes a point in the stage where things start getting intense, and those specific drums, the don't happens, and I was like, whoa, wait a second. That's not a coincidence. And then the follow-ups, the do like I was like, oh my god. It's amazing. It's
having crazy flashbacks.
So good. It's so good. Um, and speaking of so good, this next song is this is where I feel the where it's so let's see. These songs have all been very simple melodies, kind of looping, right? Like just very simplistic stuff with a lot of environment stuff happening in the background. This next song, I think, is a little bit more traditional David Wisian. There is a degree of the environmental sounds. This takes place inside of a volcano, so there's this lava bubbling sound incorporated into the song. But the song itself is a lot more full than what we've heard so far, and it's very cool, and also I just find it unbelievably beautiful. So this is a wonderful, wonderful song. It's called Hothead Bop. Enjoy. And that was Hothead Bop. What did you think? Was it a bop?
As the kids say.
I can't talk like this.
No, I don't want to either. Um, very interesting. It was giving me like really severe early 80s synthesizer synth pop stuff. Just because of that synth lead, and like it sounded like some bands, and I can't quite put my finger on it. That aside, the sound effects, as you mentioned early on in the background, were definitely pretty interesting. It does give the track, I don't know what the word is. It gives it like a mental vision for me. I can absolutely see some kind. If you didn't say lava, I would have thought maybe like in a weird mad scientist lab or something, all Bunsen's and beakers and stuff. But otherwise, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Like the uh, the drums are very interesting to me. They feel very very punchy, very top. You know, very the upper range, the upper register drums. Which is a very interesting choice. But I mean, all in all, it's still great stuff.
Yeah, I love this one. I love where it kind of it just it starts off, you know, in one vibe, and then it just switches over to being really pretty for a little bit. I love it when songs do that. Just when it's just becomes unexpectedly really pretty. There's this, a specific moment I remember. I think it's the second stage that uses this song is a stage where you have to ride these like really slow hot air balloons, right? So there are these little balloons that are floating there, and there are these hot air gusts that are coming out of the lava, and you have to jump on a balloon and then like use those air gusts to make the balloon float higher so you can move on to the next one. And there was just this spot I remember playing this game uh for probably the first time I was running through it, and you're on this balloon that's like animating extraordinarily well, and there's this lava, this crazy lava cave that you're in, and it was just the pretty music kind of, you know, the song became really pretty, and there was just so much beauty on the screen, and I was just like really taken aback on this slow moving bit where I'm just slowly floating on this balloon, and this beautiful music is playing, and this incredible, you know, red lava backdrop is like slowly going on, and there's the burbling of the lava, and it was just like, this is just profoundly beautiful. This is unbelievable. And that spot in the song always reminds me of the way that I felt when I first saw that. It was really, really, yes, really astonishing.
I'll agree with you there. I love when a game can do something like that, and you know, it hits you with something a little unexpected, and you're taken back for a moment, like, oh wow, that's wow, okay.
So, speaking of taking it back, this is another song that, and this next one really took me aback pretty thoroughly as well. This one is called the Cannons Clanking. So this is a really, really, really cool looking stage. It's in a mine, and there are these giant crystals in the background that flash like as like light hits them when you're moving around in the stage. But they like flash through the holes in this cave wall, and it's just this incredible effect for the Super Nintendo, and it's a lot of just visual trickery that makes it seem more impressive than it is, but it's still very cool. And this is one of those oh boy, this song is so cool. It's got this really melancholy feeling to it. Which is interesting that I say that. And I didn't do that on purpose. This song is also, I've seen it referred to as mining melancholy. So there's definitely something to that. But it's one of those songs that is the drum beat is very composed of the sounds of mining, which is really really cool. Yeah, without further ado, this is Cannons Clanking, a really really cool song. Enjoy. All right, that was cannons clanking, and oh, oh, that's the dynamics in it are so good. The way it handles the intensity and then sharp contrast. It goes up and it goes down, and all the different clanging sounds that come together to form this beautiful symphony of percussion. It's this song murders me. Oh, I love it to death. How did you feel about this one?
Well, I was going to say, if you do enjoy this, might I interest you in some early frontline assembly? Um, this was really interesting. I made the joke about frontline assembly, early frontline assembly, but a lot of early industrial coming out of the 80s, that kind of what they've come to call phase one industrial, has a very similar approach, which is to say, just like random clangs and bangs to make up drum patterns and drum loops and stuff, and then heavily synthesized lead melodies and things like that. So I will consider this David Wise's entry into industrial music history. That being said, thanks, Dave. That being said, very good. It's uh, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of that form of industrial. I think it's a little hokey. I think this one gets a pass because it's technically a level song to a video game, so it's kind of it's very intentional
It's
with like
Donkey Kong Country. There is an inherent level of hoke. Like it's
yeah yeah
it,
yeah
you're right there especially with the orchestra hits, like there is a this is a
yeah
product of its time, very much so, and there is a degree of hokiness
exactly.
to it, but it pulls it off because as serious as it takes itself, it is ultimately a game about cute monkeys bouncing on crocodiles. Like it's ridiculous.
collecting collecting all kinds of weird
There
things to
are
get their friends back. Yeah,
bananas everywhere.
banana. Even in the diamond mine, apparently. Um,
Exactly, floating in the air, rotating.
yeah, it's a weird phenomenon they really need to look into, but they call Mulder and Scully. But yeah, like the lead synths were a lot of fun. Like the lead melody was a lot of fun. It was almost carefree, but like I can certainly hear how this could be on a level that is cavernous. As you explained, it's inside of a
Mm.
mine. We all know what mines look like from video gaming, at very least. You know how cavernous that stuff can be. So I think it's spot on. I think it's great. I think it's a really really great track.
And then there's that one melody that does have that inherent melancholy in it to it, which is
Yes.
really interesting. That's incorporated into this. It's such a beautiful piece of music. I love it so much. But it's time for a stark left turn.
Oh, my favorite of the turns.
Oh my goodness. This song's ridiculous. This song is called Snaky Shanty, and it's basically so this is the where you meet the snake character in this game, who coils around and bounces really high. He's ridiculous. He's got a big doofy giant nose and goofy ass teeth. Like he's just a goofy looking character. And this song is so funny because it's uh what if Gangplank Galleon, the cute little pirate shanty that starts Gangplank Galleon, well, what if instead of turning into Gangplank Galleon, it was just a party? I don't know how else
I'm
to say it.
I'm
This
interested.
song is so ridiculous. It's so fun. Please enjoy Snaky Shanty. I don't know if you remember years ago we had, I don't remember if it was on SAG or if we had Dan here. If we either had you on SAG or Dan on here, we did a creator special thing, and
Yes.
I had a because this song on Kazoo.
Yes, I do remember that. That was a WaveBack creator special. Dan was a guest. What a great episode that was.
That was so much fun. This song's ridiculous. I will never forget the first time I got to this stage and that song started up. I was like, "Oh, it's Gangplank Kelly, and that's great." But then it just turned into this ridiculous party that calls back to Klomp's Romp. It calls back to that exact melody from the second song we listened to from the first stage of the game. It's so brilliant. It's so stupid. It's so fun. It's just a ridiculous party. I love it.
Yeah, I love when a game can be silly, and I think this IP really lends itself to silliness. You can do some serious, but it's real hard is in the silly, and with characters like King K Rool and the character design and all that stuff. It's fantastic. And this song is really just kind of like the epitome of like the entire franchise in its own way. Is I get sonically listening to this, which is the only way you would be able to listen to it. I get the visual of kind of just this really, really colorful cast of characters from the whole IP, in like the best possible of ways. This was a really, really fun track. Like, you weren't kidding when you said like it takes this thing and then it just goes, let's make a party.
Yeah, let's just party.
Yeah, a lot of fun though. Great melodies, great choice in instrumentation, very hop and beat, very jazzy, very New Orleans kind of second line almost. A lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love it. Okay. There's several songs left, but I don't think it's really hard to argue that this next one is probably the most famous from this game, and also quite possibly the best piece of music David Wise has ever composed. This is a breathtakingly incredible piece of music. I'm talking, of course, about Stickerbush Symphony. It just doesn't get better than this. And that's not to say that there aren't still some pretty great songs left that we're going to listen to tonight. But this is really just it. It's extraordinary in every conceivable way. So please enjoy Stickerbush Symphony. was Sticker Bush Symphony from Donkey Kong Country 2. How do you feel about that particular piece of music?
So I'm gonna compare it to another soundtrack, and we all know how I feel about this soundtrack. It gives me very serious, like Streets of Rage vibes, in that
Ooh.
it has these very sweeping synthesizers.
Mm-hmm.
It's wow, yeah, I'll agree with you. So far of all the like David Wise stuff that I've heard, this one really it takes quite a big piece of the cake, if not the whole thing. I probably could have listened to another like 45 minutes of that easily, and not bat an eyelash. Yeah, so very sweeping, wonderful synthesizers kind of lay that groundwork. The drums are real kind of low key, and then just that upfront melody really comes together. Like, wow, yeah, that's something I think I'll listen to a little more post show. That was good. That was really really good. I can absolutely see why someone like you, Kris, would say that's like pinnacle. That's the peak moment right
Yeah, I
there.
mean this song is pretty legendary. It is a profoundly beautiful piece of music to my ears. This is a song that has been reprised in several other games. It's a very as far as folks that are fans of the Super Nintendo, it is a very very famous song, and with very good reason. It's the use of stereo is outstanding in this one. The
Yeah.
way that the synthesizers will fade between one ear to the next, and oh my god, it's so masterfully put together. It's incredible. The everything from the bass line, every single note change just hits you right in the heart. It's just I don't know what other way there's no better way for me to say it. It's just a profoundly beautiful piece of music. It's incredible. And the stage that it's in is also really really pretty. It's a flying stage. You're flying around with the Squawks the parrot who's carrying you around in this one. And the whole stage is made of a giant sticker bush, but it's like in the clouds. So there's like this beautiful blue sky and these white clouds in the background, go right against this deep blue against this really stark green of the thorny vines that the whole stage is made out of. And so you're navigating this like maze of thorny vines while there's this beautiful sky in the background and this incredible music. An audio it's an audio visual assault that's when you just think about video games in general as a piece of art, when you think about when they were making the Super Nintendo, could they have possibly conceived of this kind of music coming out of it, compared with these kinds of visuals on top of something so inherently silly as a parrot carrying a couple of monkeys. It's so bizarre, it's so insane, but it's one of those absolutely beautiful things that can only come out of this medium. And it's incredible.
Kris, you have such a way with words that I think you should make a podcast.
I should.
I think you should write that down.
I should
Make a podcast.
make a podcast.
Let's
Do that
let's revisit it. Let's table it for now, and we'll revisit it. You should like maybe write a news article or something. Write for a magazine, maybe
something
That'd be
somewhere. I should do something with words
yeah,
with my life.
yeah.
Moving right along, from something that is beautiful in one direction, we're going to move into something that's far more menacing. This is a very
Yes.
very cool piece of music that matches. Again, the music matches the stages so well in this game. So this is Flight of the Zinger, and zingers are the bee characters. Those horrible spiky bees that were all over the place in Donkey Kong Country that you can't kill unless you throw a barrel at them. So this stage takes place inside of an enormous beehive. So everything is this dark orange color, and there's everything's made of honeycomb, and the walls are covered in honey, and you stick to the walls. So there's like this Ninja Gaiden element where you're just like sticking to the walls and jumping from one to the other. And there's, of course, there's just bees everywhere. It's and this music is terrifying, in the most intense way. And like, it's not one of those things, like, it seems like the music is rushing you along. And as far as I remember, there aren't any timed elements in these stages, but this music makes you feel like there is. It's very anxiety inducing. I freaking love this song. So here is Flight of the Zinger. Enjoy. All right, so that was that was Flight of the Zinger, which is I love. I can't understand why that sort of percussion sound that starts the song reminds me of bees, but it does. But I love the notion that this song starts with this like danger in the background but calm, and then it's like you disturbed the beehive and the drums come in and it just gets more and more intense as you go until that piano comes in and it's just like full on crisis mode. It's incredible.
I have to agree with you. It's a really intense track. Mostly, mostly due to the drumming. The percussions are fantastic. I like your imagery there that you've stumbled upon some kind of beehive and you're whatever disturbing them. So it kind of like starts up this, you imagine what it sounds like, thousands of bees all at once. Whatever that would sound like. Quite frankly, that thought terrifies me, but that's besides the point. I do love that like toy piano lead melody. That's great. This is a really great song. This might be my contender for the episode.
It's an extraordinary piece of music. As far as I'm concerned, nothing will ever beat Sticker Bush Symphony. But oh boy,
Well,
Flight of the Singer. I think it's an underrated track from this game for sure. And now for something completely different. This song is called Forest Interlude, and it is it kind of takes place in this very swampy forest area. I think no, there's another swamp song that's much more swampy. This is just a.
It's just a regular swamp song.
Sorry, I got confused as to which track this was. Okay, this one's actually a bit more haunted. The forest in this game is this is the ghosty levels. Well, some of them, because there's also a haunted roller coaster in this one, and it really killed me to cut that song. But again, we only have so many hours in the day. This is a really wild song. It's very eerie, and I'm kind of surprised I've not used it in a spooky special yet. But I'll probably use the haunted roller coaster in the spooky special this year if now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, we'll get there. But anyway, this is Forest Interlude. It is a very cool song, and I think you're gonna like this one. Enjoy. Yeah, it was Forest Interlude. How did you feel about that one?
I liked it a lot, actually. I will say the bird sounds were a little off-putting, but I mean, I could overlook that. Quite frankly, this was a really beautiful piece of track. Beautiful piece of track. Okay, we'll go with it. It was a really beautiful track. I liked. I really liked the composition of it. There's that again that bass line, not bass, bass, but bass line synthesizer that kind of takes advantage of the stereo and kind of just sits somewhere and floats a little bit, so it gives it this atmosphere, and then that lead in front of it, very good. I get like rainforest, forest type visuals. I'm just guessing here, but regardless, great piece of music.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool song. I like it, and I thought it kind of illustrated a different side of this game's soundtrack. It was really between this and the swamp stage, where it was a yeah. I had to pick one of them, and I think I made a good choice. This is a solid song, but so is the other song. They're all good ones, Binky. Uh,
Narf.
all right, we got two left. This next one I think we've used on this show at one point for a winter special, but it doesn't matter because this is a really pretty song. It's called "In a Snowbound Land," and I know we're done with snow here, but also screw it. This song's great.
This is in honor of the snow.
This is in honor of the snow that is now melting outside of our houses. Please enjoy in a snowbound land. Never get tired of that one. That is In a Snowbound Land. It's just another one of those astoundingly beautiful pieces of music that David Wise is capable of writing, and it's a brilliant one. Love it.
I was sitting here listening to that, and then I started to like let my brain drift away, and I don't want to say that I was daydreaming, but I got really introspective for like a good 45 seconds there, and then I had to pull myself back from like the brink, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" And I realized it was that track. That track really like sent me somewhere on a like mentally. I felt like that's probably the closest I've been to tripping, and we'll leave it at that. Um, I was really interesting. Um, for all intents and purposes, not a lot going on. There's not a lot of dynamics, not a lot of movement. But I certainly went somewhere. Beautiful, beautiful, very, very simple, very elegant, well done.
Yeah, it is really one of those songs that just kind of makes you. It kind of forces you to just stop and enjoy it. It is a it's yeah, it's wonderful,
Yeah.
just wonderful. That brings us to our last track. I couldn't not end on this one. This is the extremely cool Crocodile Cacophony. This is the final boss music. This is when you finally get to fight Kaptain K Rool. This is the music that plays, and it is a brilliantly intense, wonderful boss battle music. It's a pretty stark contrast from Gangplank Galleon, and the battle itself is relatively similar. K Rool is dressed in his full pirate garb, and he's got a big old blunderbuss, and you gotta dodge these giant cannonballs that he's shooting out of this blunderbuss. Um, I think it's the intro, the intro and the cadence of the drums gives this a real cool level of intensity. I love this song. It is one of my favorite final boss themes in a video game, and there's a lot of those. Like I don't know where I'd put this in a ranking, maybe in my top 10, but it's such a cool song. It's a great piece of boss music. So yeah, here it is, Crocodile Cacophony. Enjoy. There you go. Crocodile Cacophony. Some final boss music right there. Delightfully
I,
intense.
I don't think I need to reiterate our mutual love of boss music, let alone final boss music. So
Yes,
we're
indeed.
just gonna leave that where it sits. That was fantastic.
Right? What a
That was
great piece of
great.
music. Oh,
That
it's
was
wonderful.
the the right level of intensity, the right level of like motif, bringing it all together. Excellent.
Just that hint of
Excellent
pirate
job.
shanty in there. It's
Mm-hmm.
hits
Yeah.
all the notes. Hits all the notes. Love it.
Not a single one wasted.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done. That's it.
Wow.
That's Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah.
Diddy's Conquest. These are the tracks that I picked, but please, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, get the Nintendo Music app, listen to the whole dang thing. Or just head over to YouTube. I'm sure it's easy to find there, or play the game, because it's a really, really well done game. It's got probably way too many secrets hidden in it for you to get all of the 102% of it. If you're going to try to go for that, use a guide. There's a lot to find, but man, oh man, what a fun night this was. This is I love this music so much. I'm spent. I'm done. I'm toast. I am a tired guy, but this was worth every ounce of staying up. So yeah. Final thoughts before we close this out.
Have you yet to hear a bad David Wise song?
Love it. All right. So, all right, I guess before we close this out, we do have a little bit of listener feedback. So let's jump on in here and see what we got going on. If you aren't part of our Discord, there's a lot of good stuff to be had, a lot of fun conversations that happen in here. And I posted about Donkey Kong Country 2, and Tiny Matt jumped in to say this is the best David Wise soundtrack ever, and I cannot be convinced otherwise. And that's yeah. I'm not gonna.
I stand by that. I wouldn't fight Matt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can fight that. I don't know if I can. Tropical Freeze is incredible, just by sheer volume. Tropical Freeze. I mean, it's so many tracks. I don't know. That's really something.
I appreciate that we both said we wouldn't fight it, and then you proceeded to fight it.
Let's see. He also said, honestly, the only song I really don't like from DK2 is Sticker Bush Symphony, and not because it's bad, but it's everybody's favorite, and it's been played to death. Meanwhile, nobody talks about Forest Interlude, which is probably my favorite from the game. Look at that. And I played Forest Interlude. You hear that? And I didn't even read this comment beforehand.
We aim to please. We are of the people.
I don't believe that Sticker Bush Symphony could possibly be played out. Yes, it is everyone's favorite. I've never gotten tired of it.
Now,
for an
all
instant.
right, hang on a second, because let's talk about mainstream music. There's plenty of songs that are fantastic that have been played to death.
Right, that is true. But this is video game music. I've never once gotten tired of listening to that song.
You are a different breed, sir.
That's true. I am a different breed. Let's see. P2 Mc28 said something about
this.
Yeah. Well, obviously less episodes per year, more songs per episode. Let's go 4-hour WaveBack episodes.
See, that's the kind of conversations you could be joining in if you joined our Discord server.
Yes, indeed.
You could terrorize us from afar.
And there was a whole lot of references to Not Another Teen Movie and a bunch of other wackiness here. Let's see here. Matt jumped in again to say just this evening, like I said, it's the best David Wise soundtrack there's ever been. And I know that's a really bold statement, but there really isn't a bad song on the whole soundtrack. I would agree with that assessment. P2B28 jumped in and said, I can't recall any specific memories, but the music from this game easily transports me back to the mid to late 90s, when I'd spend hours, days, and weekends at my best friend's house playing games. Getting through Donkey Kong Country 2 co-op is easily a top-tier memory for me. It's so much that I still carry the sting of never completing the third game, since it didn't live up to 2. Oh boy, do I feel that. I have tried to play Donkey Kong Country 3 so many times, and it just doesn't catch me. There's so much I don't enjoy about it. I don't think the music's nearly as good. That was, I believe, Evelyn Fisher did that soundtrack all by herself. David Wise wasn't involved, which is odd because when they released it on Game Boy Advance, because the Super Nintendo, like all the low fidelity stuff in the Super Nintendo, didn't translate well to the Game Boy Advance, so they hired David Wise to make an entire new soundtrack for the GBA version of Donkey Kong Country 3, which is incredible, but I still don't like the game. Let's see. He's moving back to my state soon. I think we ought to play Donkey Kong Country 2 again when he does. Thanks for giving me a reason to dig up those memories. You're very welcome, P2 McTwenty8. I had a damn good time doing it my own self. And then Gerardo211 said, not as familiar with this one as the first, but it's great to have you guys back. Oh, it's great to be back.
Thank you,
Gerardo. Yeah, it's great to be back. This was fun. That was our feedback, and that is our show. Join us next time for Matt's pick. Matt, where are we going next?
Oh, we are going to Donut County.
Oh yes, what a pick! I love this soundtrack.
I know. I don't want to. Okay. I played it within the last year or so. It totally slipped through the cracks when we did our year in review. And then I was looking for, I was trying to figure out what I'm going to pick for my next episode. And I was like, I don't know. And I read your list. I always go to your list because my aim here is to whittle down that list, help you whittle down that list. And then I saw it and I was like, is that the game I think it is? And I, looked at, oh, yes, it is. Donut County. Whoops. That was close. Ugh. Donut County. Even when I said it slow, I almost said the wrong thing. I need to go to bed.
Oh man, I can't wait. I have this soundtrack on vinyl. I love this one. This is good stuff. All right. Unfortunately, we are going to have to wait because I think, let's see, it's March now, so this is going to be back in June. Just in time for my birthday. Donut County for my birthday. I love that.
Hey.
Huzzah. All right, we here at the WaveBack podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff relating to video game music and whatever our next episodes are going to be. And of course, you can still send us an email at mail@geekade.com. And while you're at it, check out all our social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. WaveBack and other Geekade podcasts are made possible thanks to the Geekade Patreon page. There, patrons can get access to a monthly podcast topic and recording schedule, get early access to most of Geekade's shows, including this one, and more. If you've enjoyed our podcasts over the years, please follow the link in the description and give it a look. We truly appreciate it. And finally, as always, be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. We'll be leaving you tonight with Donkey Kong Rescued. Yes, in case I didn't mention before, the plot of this game is that Donkey Kong was kidnapped. You free him at the end, and he punches King K. Rool in the face, and then this music plays. It's the end credits theme, the end of the thing, and that's what we do to cap off episodes. So thank you very much for listening. Thanks for sticking with us during this break, and this was a lot of fun. Glad to be back. Enjoy Donkey Kong Rescued, and we'll see you next time for some awesome raccoon. Oh god, there's so much good writing in that. Hijinks of Donut County. Please stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. I was holding that whole time. Oh, thought I was gonna die.
Well, hi there, Matt.
Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy. Yep. Right back, just settled right in. Like in no time wasted. This is a mouthful though. All right.
Oh, that was a hoot.